Hey YouTube, I'm going to do a little review. I wasn't going to do this, but the more and more I think about it, yeah, I'm going to do this. This is going to be a review on this CHAMP RTF fly. Everything you need from Horizon Hobbies. And here it is, the radio control, ready to fly. Mistake number one. It includes everything, the controller, batteries, battery for the plane, everything necessary, everything you need to fly in one box. Kind of a neat little aircraft, small, light, plenty of power. And the manual, easy to read. The setup guide was straightforward. Everything worked as should be. Setting all the truss rods and getting everything per the book for first flight. Bound the radio, everything checked out. Until the day that hit the throttle, got around the runway, and the thing veers off to the right. I'm thinking, what? So we went back to the manual again, reset, checked everything. Everything is supposed to be where it's at, according to the manual. Flight test number 2, hit the throttle, same thing, she veers off to the right, and I'm thinking, what the hell, okay. So the third time, this is a repeating occurrence. I figured, screw it, I'm just going to launch it and go that route. And at the moment of launch, I gave her 80% on the power. I give it a little toss, and right at that moment of that first contact of, air hit the foil, I knew I had a problem. And she started to counter and roll to the right, so I jumped on the throttle, barely made it over the Dutchman out there, the motorhome, and got some elevation on it. I trimmed the rudder almost all the way max to the left, and to no avail, was doing nothing, made no change. As well as I'm flying full left rudder to keep this thing, at least on a straight arrow, which I never achieved. I could not even get a glide slope. Every time I throttled back, this thing would violently roll to the right and pitch over and nosedive. And I saved her like twice. The third time, my options were getting really small. I'm flying in between houses, trees, fence posts, telephone poles. My options are very, very narrow with a plane that I can't even, get on a straight glide slope. So I figured, okay, after looking around, I had a field out here, had tall weeds, soft weeds growing out there. I thought, you know what, that's my landing spot. So I was limited to circling in the air, but she got wider and wider, and it's getting closer and closer and closer to the field. And I missed it by 10 inches. She violently rolled to the right and nosedive. She pitched over. I tried to pull her out of the stall, and next thing I know, she hit the concrete irrigation ditch, and just exploded. So, after, thoroughly investigating, coming to the conclusion, I thought the monster was, in the tail section. There was nothing wrong with the flight control surfaces. Everything was within spec according to the manual. Everything pretty much disintegrated when she hit the ground. It's not even worth rebuilding. But upon the inspection, and I never would have seen this, the propeller, the motor, the way it's mounted inside the carriage is not even, it's about 5, maybe 6 degrees to the right, off center. So it really, you couldn't see it, you know, with the fuselage on there. I never knew I had a problem in the front. Did not know, you know. I went to the whole manual. I set her up. Everything checked out. But this is a factory error. This is catastrophic failure. Problem is, it's been about 25, 30 years since I've flown fixed wing, and a couple of issues I had with the plane at that time is no working ailerons. I had no way to control pitch. I had no way to roll. I had no way to counter-react the forces that I had no idea where they were coming from to create this unstable flight characteristic. And then the other thing that really kind of wish I would have had is the flaps. I had no flaps. I had no way to, lower my airspeed. So it was just one problem piled on top of another problem, creating another problem, creating an issue where, the moment I tossed that plane into the air, I had maybe 10% control. So you got to fly one time. I know if this would have been, straight, everything would have been tuned, there's no reason for this. This thing would have flew great. I picked up this plane just to get back on the sticks for fixed wing, flying drones. Totally opposite. So this was a tool that was capable of building my confidence back up, and first flight out, 5 minutes later, well, she's done. So I guess the moral of the story is, if you're learning to fly, don't bother with one of these. Go get a fully functional aircraft where you've got full control rudder, elevator, ailerons, flaps, hell, speed brakes if you want, I don't care. K-flaps in the front. Get a plane that's fully functional and that will fly like a plane with the full characteristics. Now, you don't need the ailerons, but in that type of emergency situation, I'm 99.9% sure if I would have had full control of my ailerons, I could have counter-reacted that violent right roll, and I probably could have landed this thing on the ground in one piece. So I would not recommend this plane or the second version as a trainer. Yes, they're cheap. Spend a few extra bucks. Get something that is a real plane that has the full functions and capabilities of a fixed wing aircraft. This is just a half-ass plane. It's just a toy, but it can give you a false sense of, security. It's not in my opinion, I would not rely on this as a trainer. All right, well, that's it. That's on the Hobby Zone. Champ, ready to fly from Horizon Hobbies. 1 to 5. I gave it a 1. I got 1 flight out of it. All right, that's it.